Hello, space fans. Welcome to Space Command, your source for space news. My name is Brian, and during this special broadcast, we are exclusively covering the arrival of the Hope probe from the United Arab Emirates, which hopefully will be arriving in the orbit of Mars today. So that's pretty exciting. After a 6-month trip from Earth, it will finally be arriving, and the United Arab Emirates will be joining an elite club of those who have been able to send a successful mission to Mars. So we're going to talk about that. All right. Looks like we got a helper here. Bunny. This is Bunny. And she's a Manx cat. She's a good girl. All right. Well, before we get into all that, we're going to cover some space weather. You should be able to see a conjunction with the planet Mars and our moon on February 18th and the 19th, just after sunset. And then the moon is currently in its waning phase. And then later this month, on February 27th, we're going to see a full moon, which is called the snow moon. So the full moon in February is always called the snow moon. Now our next moon phase will be a new moon, and that's going to be on February 11th. So February 11th we'll have a new moon. It'll change from the waning phase to a new moon. So let's see here. Hey, planet Mars has begun its transition into spring, the season of spring. So for the next 6 months, the planet's going to be warming up a little bit more every day. The ice cap is going to start to melt. The northern ice cap is going to start to melt. And the ice cap is composed of carbon dioxide. Frozen carbon dioxide. You would think it was composed of water, and most people do, but no, it's frozen carbon dioxide, which is also known as dry ice, right? Dry ice. Well, let's see. Weather on Mars. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the weather on Mars today. Well, today's date on Mars is Sol 3027, and the high temperature is a balmy 5 degrees Fahrenheit, and the low temperature is negative 102. Hey, that high temperature is actually warmer than it is here right now, so that's amazing. That's amazing. The weather is sunny. The UV, the ultraviolet radiation index, is high. So if you're going out on Mars today, I would recommend that you wear some sunglasses. It's got some high radiation. The wind is 4 miles per hour out of the south. Sunrise was at 6:41 this morning. Sun will set at 6:41 this evening. Both 6:41. The barometric pressure is 818. And so that is the current weather on Mars. All right, well, let's talk about this Hope probe from the United Arab Emirates. It's pretty exciting.
It's time. Time we turn a dream into destiny. Time we let our future make history. Time we end 50 years of ambition with a new beginning. On the 9th of February 2021, the Hope probe will brave its greatest challenge. Being captured into orbit around the red planet. Witness the dream of a nation entering the dark half hour. No connection. No control. No second chance. Only faith. 30 minutes that will decide our fate. Will Hope send us the signal we've been waiting for? Join us and hope for hope.
like I said, the Hope probe has been traveling for 6 months through space to get to Mars, and it's not alone. There are 3 missions currently en route to Mars, and those are China is sending a trio package of a orbiter, a lander, and a rover to Mars. Now, it's all in one package traveling together. When it arrives tomorrow, it will enter the orbit of Mars. And then we also have NASA's Perseverance rover, which is also en route to Mars, and it's going to arrive later this month. So that's awesome. Very, very exciting. Well, let's see here. You know, I thought I might give you a little rundown on the history of missions to Mars. Believe it or not, we started way back in 1960 trying to get to Mars, trying to send missions to Mars. To date, we have, including these 3 missions that are en route right now, we have attempted an astounding 50 different missions to Mars. Only 20 of these missions have succeeded. So that is a really crazy number. Less than half of the missions that we've sent to Mars have been successful. The Soviet Union and Russia attempted to send the first missions to Mars starting in 1960, and the Soviets have attempted 19 different missions to Mars. Believe it or not, guess how many missions have succeeded that the Soviets or the Russians have sent to Mars? 1. Only 1 out of all those missions they've sent. That's crazy. So that was a mission called Mars 3, and it launched on May 28th, 1971. Then NASA and the United States have attempted 23 different missions to Mars. 16 of those missions have been successful. That's more than half, so that's awesome. That's a good record. And of course, one of those missions is still en route, NASA's Perseverance rover. And Japan has attempted 1 mission to Mars. It failed because it didn't reach Mars orbit. Something happened to it in between Earth and Mars, that 6-month journey, and it didn't make it to Mars orbit. The European Space Agency has successfully sent the Mars Express spacecraft, which entered orbit back in 2003. And then they sent another orbiter in 2016 called the Trace Gas Orbiter, and that also was a success. So hats off to the European Space Agency. China previously has attempted 1 other mission to Mars, and that was back in 2011. However, the spacecraft failed to even reach Earth orbit, so the rocket failed on launch. And then, as I mentioned to you previously, China also has a mission currently en route to the Red Planet, and it's supposed to arrive tomorrow. So we'll be covering that. That's pretty exciting. And then, believe it or not, amazingly, 1 private company has launched and attempted to send a Mars mission, and that was in 2019. Can you guess what company that was that sent that attempted mission to Mars? That's right, SpaceX. Back in 2019, on a Falcon Heavy rocket launched from the United States. And if you remember correctly, it was Elon Musk's cherry red Tesla Roadster that he sent on a mission in a trajectory towards Mars. Now, it overshot the planet, so somebody didn't do the math right, and it didn't arrive at the precise moment when it would have been caught into Mars orbit, and it overshot the planet and just kept on going. And then, let's see here. Last but not least, the United Arab Emirates currently has an orbiter en route to the red planet, and it's supposed to arrive today. So that's pretty exciting, and we're hoping that it's going to be successful, and that's what we're here to find out. We're going to cover that for you and announce it right here during this broadcast. So as you can see, we have a serious obsession with the red planet, and unfortunately Mars has a way of outsmarting us more than half the time. Yep. All right, well, you know, I mentioned this last broadcast, but I actually have a piece of Mars right here with me in the studio. This is a genuine Mars rock. It's a meteorite, and it was found in Morocco, and it fell on July 18th, 2011, in Morocco, and a laboratory tested it. The scientists proved this to be a Shergotite Martian meteorite, which had been ejected from the surface of the planet by an asteroid impact off of Mars. This is only the 5th recovered witnessed fall of a Martian meteorite in history, and I have a piece of it right here. It also has a certificate of authenticity by Steve Arnold. Steve Arnold is the world famous meteorite hunter and TV host. He has his own show. So this is 26 milligrams weight wise of this meteorite from Mars. So I'll hold it up to the camera here so you can see. Yep, there it is. All right. So why go to Mars when you have Mars right here in your office or in your studio? That's pretty exciting. All right. Well, let's talk about the Hope probe. The United Arab Emirates is one of the newest players in this quest for Mars, and it launched on July 19th, 2020. It launched from Japan on a Japanese H-11A Mitsubishi rocket.
عدد التنازل 10 9 2 1 إطلاق.
Is not flying above Pacific Ocean to the east.
ロケットは正常に飛行中であり、種子島の地上局は正常にロケットの追尾を行っています。
The HC flight is on course, and the Tanashima station is tracking the launch vehicle very well.
80、81、82、84、85、86、87、88、89、90。 SPA 連勝終了
SABs have blown up.
انفصال محركات الدفع الجانبية.
SRB separation.
And the Hope probe was manufactured right here in the United States. It was built here in the United States in cooperation with the University of Colorado, Boulder, with Arizona State University, and the University of California, Berkeley. The UAE is sending this mission to Mars as part of their 50th anniversary celebration, and also marks the beginning of another 50 years to come. So the space probe is going to study daily and seasonal weather cycles, as well as dust storms and how the weather varies in different regions of the planet. Hope is powered by solar panels, and the mission is expected to last for at least 2 years. Now, if successful, if the UAE is successful and manages to get this probe into orbit today, they will be the 5th and newest entity, if successful, to send a mission to the Red Planet, which includes NASA, the Soviet Union, Russia, the European Space Agency, and the Indian Space Research Organization, which also known as ISRO. So that is pretty exciting. Hey, also want to mention to you that February 7th marks a new year on the planet Mars. It's New Year's Day on Mars, February 7th. That was just a couple days ago. So a year on Earth, everybody knows, a year on Earth lasts 365 days. But a year on Mars lasts 668 sols. They call them sols instead of days. A Martian sol is the same as an Earth day. And it takes 668 sols for Mars to have a year. And a year's time is marked by how long it takes the Earth to rotate around the sun, to orbit around the sun. So a year for Mars would be how many days, how many sols does it take for Mars to orbit around the sun? And the answer to that question is 668 sols. So each day or sol on Mars lasts a little longer than what we experience here on Earth. Of course, you know, we have 24 hours in a day, and the red planet, since it takes almost twice as long to orbit the sun as Earth, on Mars, the day is 24 hours and 39 minutes. So it's a little longer than what we experience here on Earth. 39 minutes to be exact. This year on Mars is year 36, according to us here on Earth. This is year 36, and that's since we started keeping track. 36 years ago, we started keeping track, and so this is year 36. And year 1, we started keeping track because of a significant dust storm that was detected in 1956. And it was named the Great Dust Storm of 1956. Isn't that original? Yeah. So, yeah. So the Great Dust Storm of 1956. That's pretty exciting. Well, let me check over here and see what progress we're making with the probe and how it's doing and how close it's getting to arriving there in orbit. So bear with me just a minute. Let's take a look. I don't know if you know this, I'm just full of useless information, but just like here on Earth, Mars has four different seasons. They actually have 4 seasons. Cooler winters, warmer summers. The Martian year always begins with the Northern Hemisphere's spring equinox, which just happened. And then it begins autumn in the Southern Hemisphere. So unlike Earth's seasons, Mars seasons are not all the same length. This difference is because the red planet's orbit around the sun is more extreme with an elliptical shape than Earth's. The season we're now entering, spring, in Mars, Northern Hemisphere, is the longest season of the year for the planet. It lasts about 194 sols, or days. Now, Mars experiences much more extreme temperatures than what we do here on Earth. The planet's yearly average temperature is minus 76 degrees Fahrenheit. That is a little chilly, I'll tell you what. Well, I'm checking here. We have not reached orbit just yet. It looks like there is an impending announcement here coming from the United Arab Emirates. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and break away to this press conference and see what their announcement is. Maybe they've arrived. I don't know. Let's check and find out. All right, stand by.
At about 7:30 p.m. today, we're going to start our Mars orbit insertion sequence. That includes a burn of up to 27 minutes, reducing our speed down to 18,000 kilometers per hour. That's the speed we require to be captured by Mars's gravity. At 7:42, due to the 11-minute delay in communication, that is when we're going to receive a signal and probably hear from the ground control center in Al Khwanij here about the start of the Mars orbit insertion phase. Following this phase will end at 7:57 p.m. We will find out about it around 8:08 p.m. It will take the team a few minutes to gather a lot of the data that's coming in from the spacecraft to ensure that we've arrived safely prior to announcement.
إلى جميع الفرق، إلى شعب دولة الإمارات، إلى الأمة العربية والإسلامية، نعلن نجاح وصول دولة الإمارات في مدار كوكب الأحمر. اللهم لك الحمد، اللهم لك الحمد، اللهم لك الحمد. We'll be performing some test activity against the instrumentation that we have on board the probe. This will last around 8 weeks, so we'll be in the capture orbit for 8 weeks. After that, we're going to transit to the science orbit. At the science orbit, we designed the mission to last for 2 years, and depends on some other criteria. We are going to extend the mission lifetime to 2 more years. So the total lifetime for the mission is 4 years.
All right, well that's awesome. So it looks like the United Arab Emirates is successful in its arrival at Mars and is now in Mars orbit. So that's awesome. The UAE will be the 5th and newest entity to send a mission to the Red Planet. So they are joining the likes of NASA, Soviet Union or Russia, the European Space Agency, and the Indian Space Research Organization, and being the newest player to arrive there at Mars successfully. That's terrific. We're very excited. We're going to be covering tomorrow's arrival of China's trio, the lander, the rover, and the orbiter, which will be arriving tomorrow, hopefully. We're keeping our fingers crossed in hopes that that is successful as well. And so thanks for joining us for this broadcast and sharing with us the arrival of the UAE's Hope orbiter to the Red Planet. And hey, if you like this video, click like. And to see more videos like this, click subscribe. And if you want to help out by improving the quality of these broadcasts or transmissions, consider becoming a Patreon supporter, because we could sure use the help. All right. Well, thanks for joining us again on Space Command. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.